So 4 years on, 4 years after I have healed from alcoholism with the help of LSD, 4 years on, I am living in an apartment with my girlfriend and we're holding full moon circles every full moon. And we started dreaming that autumn. We started dreaming and we said to each other, wouldn't it be nice if we had a retreat place? Wouldn't it be nice if we had a retreat place where we could hold full moon ceremonies and the like? And I am not joking. 2 weeks later, no more, one of our friends phoned us and said, my friend has a retreat place and he's going on the road for 3 or 4 months. Would you be interested in taking care of it? Yeah, let's meet this guy. So my girlfriend and I, we go out to meet him and we like the place and he likes us. It's a match. So when it's dusk, we go out behind the house and we do a ceremony welcoming us to this place. And as we're moving down towards the house again, it's dusk, and my girlfriend, she looks down and behind the house were some bushes and she says, there's someone there in the bushes. And I look down and I go, no, there's no one there in the bushes. And she looks again and she goes, no, I'm certain, there's a man in the bushes. And I squint and I go, no, I'm sorry, your mind's just playing tricks on you. A couple of weeks later, we move in. My girlfriend and I and 3 friends. We're going to take care of this place for the winter. And it didn't take any more than 2 days. And 2 of my friends, they came to me all shook up. There's a male energy behind the house and it is not happy. It is not happy. There's a male energy and it is not happy. It does not want us here. And then one of my friends says, when I was young, we used to play around with Ouija boards to get in contact with the spirit world. Why don't we try that? And I had never tried a Ouija board before in my life. In Sweden, we've actually got a variant of it called Andeni glasses. We use a glass instead. And so I said, yeah, sure, let's try that. So we draw up the board, we warm the glass over a candle, we put it in the starting position and everyone puts a finger on the glass. And very quickly the glass starts moving. It's not moving that quickly, but it is moving intentionally. And we get in contact with the spirit behind the house. Not the male spirit that was so angry, but another spirit, or to be more exact, a soul. And this soul starts telling us the story. A man and his wife and their child, they live in this house, and they also have a servant. The wife is pregnant, and she dies giving birth. She and the baby die. And in that moment, this man, her husband, he absolutely loses it. He loses it and he is just so angry and distraught and upset. How could you do this to me, God? How could you do this? How could you take everything that I love away from me? How could you? From that day on, he's not the same. He's broken, angry. A few years later, the son and the servant, they're mending the ceiling in an outdoor cellar. And the cellar starts collapsing in on itself. They call out for the man, and the man comes running, and they are all three just buried in the cellar, and they all die. But as they die, the man, he doesn't understand that he needs to move along. Where is my wife? Where is my wife? My wife is supposed to be here. Where is she? She's supposed to be here. Where is my wife? And in not being able to move on, he locks the other two souls in place also, the son and the servant. And it's the son we're talking to. At this point, we get in contact with his wife. And his wife, she has passed over. She has passed over. She is not a ghost. And there's a very big difference in talking to a ghost or talking to a soul that has passed over. Now, a ghost, a soul that is trapped in this existence, that hasn't been able to pass over, it's like talking to a drunk person. It's a bit, oof. But talking to someone that has passed over, that's a whole other matter. It's clarity. And she gives us instructions. She says, go to the altar behind the house. Bring a homemade cross, a crucifix, and also some candles. There, pray to God to help these souls come over to the other side. Now, I'm not a Christian, but when helping others, you need to adopt their worldview, not your own necessarily. So even if I don't feel comfortable, I made a cross. We brought some candles, and in the middle of the night, we walked up to the altar behind the house, placed the cross, lighted the candles, and for the first time in my life, I prayed to God. And yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, did I? God, we've got some ghosts, souls, I don't know, over here. Would need your help to bring them over. I might not have been good at praying. Perhaps someone else was, because all of a sudden, after just a few minutes, an enormous energy just moved through the entire spot, and we all went, whoa! What was that? And I looked over at others. Did you feel? Yeah, we all felt that. What was that? So we walk down to the house again, and we get the board out. We warm the glass up and we put it on the board, and we put our fingers on the glass, and this time the glass is it's moving so fast that we can't keep up. It's just boom, 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 boom. Through comes the archangel Ismael. Ismael, the archangel that controls life and death, the transition between the two and the cleansing. And his energy is mighty. And he says, tomorrow morning you go to the church in St. Olaf. There you pray to God again to receive these souls. I will bring the souls to the church in St. Olaf, and when we're done, I will take them over. And I start questioning. I say, it's in the middle of a winter. That church, it's a small church in a small village. It isn't open. And he just says, phone them. They will be. So early next morning, I phone the church. And they go, yeah, well, that church isn't really open, but there is actually a handyman up there today, so he'll let you in. Okay, yeah, well, we go to the church, and that's the second time in my life that I pray to God. And I'm not much better at it this time, but perhaps someone else was, I don't know, or perhaps God was listening anyway. Perhaps God doesn't really care how good you are at praying. And I don't know how long it took, 5, 10 minutes. But all of a sudden there was just this deep exhale, just, ooh. And I looked over at the others. Did you feel that? Yeah, we all felt that. So we get in the car and go back to the house, go back to the farm. When we get there, we can feel that the entire place has just exhaled. There's a lightness over it. But let's make sure. So we get Ismael on the phone again. We put out a board and do the glass, and we get Ismael on the phone. And we ask, is it done? And he says, yes, it's done. Now, just as if you were laying in bed and you got up out of bed, there's an imprint. And there's an imprint because these souls have been trapped here for so long, so there's an imprint in this place, but that will also be gone within a few weeks. Don't worry about it. You don't need to do anything more. And at that point in time, I wasn't used to talking to archangels. So I just threw out a question. I asked, is there anything more you want to tell us? And Ismael said, yes. Daniel, father, and Sarah, mother. And me and my girlfriend, we just look at each other, and we hadn't even spoken about getting children. I was not there in my thoughts. And then Ismael came through again and he said, she's here now. Would you like to speak to her?